because your wife's a teacher. I know my
Ladies
wife
and
is too.
gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the fellas are already chirping. I had to cut them off. We can't waste good comedy before we start rolling. So, speaking of rolling, Ed, we have a fantastic movie review to do this week, courtesy of The Phantom. So, before we get into that, how about a word from the podcast store?
Well, let's try to pay some bills. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, we're trying to pay some bills with this
Buy a
podcast.
shirt, you cheap.
Yeah, stop being
Yeah, I
so.
got like I think I'm up to like 6 t-shirts now.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Excellent, excellent.
It's a good rotation for the week. So buy one more so you have seven.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I think that pretty much says it all. So, and don't wait, our collection is flying off the shelf, mostly to Brad. Um, don't be cheap, buy a shirt. Visit us now at bonfire.com and grab your favorites before they're gone. And then check us out at the 1973 Podcast T-shirt store on YouTube. Just click the link below.
All right. So while Ed disappeared into the abyss for a minute, there he is.
He's back.
We're reviewing a movie this week that was possibly set up for talking points. Well, I'm sure we're going to have a real good dialogue. So, Phantom, tell us what you picked. Give us your review first.
I picked War of the World with Ice Cube. Now, a bit of a backstory for this one. Looking through the movies, looking for something to watch. So I see the title with pretty much the poster's Cube's face, and my older son Dylan happens to be walking in. He's like, "Hey, Dad, you gotta watch that movie." And I'm like, "Why, you saw it?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like the worst movie I've ever seen. I'm like, "Nah, it can't be that bad." He's like, "Worst ever." So then he's trying to tell me like Rotten Tomatoes has that like a 0.
Ah!
So I'm like, we'll give it a go. So I stopped watching it, and I gotta say, like the concept of it, I didn't really think was that bad. Some of the acting, Ice Cube's acting, kind of real shitty. But like, I don't know if it's because I get a kick out of the. I'm a believer in like they're watching everything that we do, like how he was doing it with his cyber job. So I think I got a kick out of like that part of it. But as a total film, I definitely not the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I thought it was just middle of the road, decent, but definitely not terrible. So I'll come in with a 5.1 for my boy Cube.
All right. Ed, thoughts on the movie?
That should just say it all. All right. Well, I mean, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I think Sharknado would be up there as one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I mean, again, I do like to reiterate Ryan's point. Like, do I think that a lot of things that go on the interwebs, it's about capturing our data and looking in on us and everything like that for sure. I mean, we all know what happens. It's nothing new. So I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna give it a good 4.7.
All right. Tom had his guardian look there for a minute with the hood on.
He
What is
did.
your thoughts on the movie, Thomas?
It sucked.
Oh,
Dude, that was bad. It kept me awake. I didn't fall asleep like I did during Icarus, but it was pretty bad. There were so many shots in that movie where they did like they were talking on Zoom. I actually said to my wife that if I didn't know that they had made it in 2025, that I would have thought they made it during the pandemic when nobody could get together. They had so many like Zoom meetings and either that or they were sponsored by Zoom or Teams or one of those. It was so horrible. And I think Ice Cube, for his, I mean, the guy can act better than what he did in this movie. Let's just say it seemed like he dialed it in. I don't know what he got paid for it, but it seemed like he might have dialed this one in. And the cast, the one guy I really like in the movie, I mean, before this movie, and he wasn't even really good, was Clark Gregg from the all the Marvel movies. And I'm going to give it a 5, straight 5.
Bradford, you're up.
Bro. I tried to give you the benefit. I'm glad you opened with your son saying this was the worst movie ever. So I thought you picked it legitimately because you thought it was a good movie, and so I did inflate my score a little bit earlier, Andy. I'm changing my score though. I'm changing it. All the footage in this movie was just stock military footage that like any one of us can get off of YouTube, man. Like when they're going to attack the aliens, they got dudes jumping out of airplanes and shit. And I'm like, well, what are they doing? And they never even like explore that. They're just tanks are firing, dudes jumping out of airplanes, dudes fast roping out of helicopters. It's like they took every military recruitment commercial and put it in this movie. The CGI was horrible. This movie reminded me of like an early 2000s or mid 2000s sci-fi movie of the week. Now, don't get me wrong. The sci-fi movies of the week, they put out some bangers. Ed referenced one. He said it sucked, but it didn't. Sharknado is a cult classic. Is a literal hit. The sequels, they're trash. The original Sharknado was a phenomenal movie. When you watch it with like an open mind and you just have fun with it was a great movie. This movie, War of the Worlds, was not that. It's like, you remember those early or like late 90s, early 2000 movies when they finally discovered like the internet and they tried to make hacker movies and you could just do anything from your computer? That's what this reminded me of. Like Ice Cube was literally hacking into the Zoom chat with like the president or some shit, is spying on him and then being like, "Hey, Mr. President, I need a phone call. I think we need to attack." And then they're like, "Yeah, launch the nukes, launch the B-2s." From the Homeland Security desk jockey, like he gave the authorization. Like, come on, bro. Oh, this movie was it was laughable. I actually fell asleep, came back to watch it again because I kept waiting for the moment that would make the movie, which is why I was like, "Oh, Ryan picked it for a reason. That moment is coming." It never came.
It came just now when I get to listen to you talk
It
about it.
it never came, bro. This movie was, and I'm so generous with my ratings and what I think is a movie what makes a movie good or bad. Historically bad movie. I got to give it a solid three. Solid three.
Oof.
It was horrible.
All right, so how do I James Worthy this fast break? This I can this movie when I watched it, I have so many different aspects of thought process on this movie. Number one, the original is a classic. The whole
100%.
concept of it, the pop culture aspect of it at the time, where we actually fooled people into thinking that it was an actual radio broadcast that people before television fell for, whatever. And it's been made in the 1950s, which wasn't a bad version of it, the original. Then they did one with Tom Cruise. I'm not sure if they did any more low budget ones, but I what I did like about this movie is the concept of the update. I did like the concept of the update of the movie. The thought of the story being how it was, how it's presented is another one. Ice Cube might have been the worst acting I've ever seen. It is like poor quality all the way around. I think our podcast has better production than this movie does with a big budget.
100%. 100%.
Without a doubt. And you don't even have to buy a t-shirt to watch that movie. But anyways, who told Ice Cube to look like Orson Welles? Somebody must have told that guy, "Hey, can you grow a beard? You look maybe kind of like Orson Welles. We're going to kind of present you as the Orson Welles type character. The overall narrative of what's going on is going through you first." Like Brad said, poor CGI. We're going into an AI type environment now where kids are throwing together. I send them to the Phantom all the time. There are kids out there that are making these AI movies with action figures that it's like if they ever put this to a full hour movie or a 90-minute movie, they're gonna put Hollywood out of business. It is crazy. So it's a poor take from them. to present a movie like this. It looks like a sci-fi movie of the week, like back in the day, like Brad said. Going last, of
Double
course,
feature.
you agree with a lot of the things that have already been said. So the only salvageable point of this whole movie watching was I like the concept. The presentation is what the everything about it after that is a down. I didn't like the cast. I thought the cast was lacking. I thought the story of he's at odds with the daughter and the son because the mother had passed away and blah 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 blah. But who didn't know right off the rip that the son was the hacker? I could pick right up on that right off the bat. So not very predictable.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert, the 20 people that watch our podcast they don't have to watch the movie now.
Well, you know what? For once, put a comment in there. If you didn't,
We're doing them a favor.
Do it a favor. Put a comment under this episode. Maybe we can get some traction with some chirping. We love the chirping. Anyways, score from me, and it's generous. 5.9. 5.9. Generous because it's a classic. It's a classic take on it. I like the updated concept, but everything else slides down from there. So it'd probably be like, if it was done really well, probably be like a 7.2 if it was done well with that concept, but you slid all the way down to a 5.9. So with me.
Did the extra points come when they were eating up all the data and he was losing the message from his wife? Did the Tia give you the extra 0.8?
Well, there's little things like that kind of like, we turning a corner with this movie. There's little things like that. I mean, it's a little it's a nice touch on the concept. Like I said, it could have been done better. You could have found out a little sooner in the movie that the wife had passed away. That's why they saved that for longer than they needed to. So, Tom, final score?
Lowest one we've had yet, 4.65.
Wow.
Bro.
What are we going to round up that 6.5 to a 7?
No, we're going to round down to 4.6.
No, round that shit down to a 2.5, which is what IMDb gives this movie.
Okay.
Text Derek. Maybe we can pump it up to a 5. He might have been.
No,
he might have been
off on this one.
He might have been had an 8.
IMDb 2.5.
You owe your son an ass whooping for that one.
Well, no, he called it.
I'm gonna I'll take kind of the blame for it because I didn't pregame Ryan with a pick ahead of time, and we're waiting for more DVD giveaways during our.
I like these though.
I like Tom watching so we can get a 6 out of it.
Bro, I like watching like just rando movies that turn out to be really, really bad or really, really good.
Well, the thing that was funny is that after me and him were going back and forth after I did watch it, and I was like, dude, it wasn't that bad. He kept telling me to have you guys all watch it. So I'm like, nobody wants to watch that. But when Andy asked me to pick a movie, that was the first thing that popped in my head.
That movie was horrible, bro. I'm beside myself on how bad that movie is.
I want to hit a movie of one of these times, and everyone we kind of always go to the classics, but every once in a while, I like when somebody picks something that nobody's ever watched yet.
Like
I'm dying to hit one of those ones where like somebody's like an 8 and then somebody's like a 3. Like I want to hit that movie that we're like.
You know what? I know it's going to happen eventually, but I think it's the like-minded individuals on the podcast that it's all kind of like the Gen X perspective. So I don't think it's going to happen too often. We all kind of like the same crap. It's just I don't see it happening, but it might. It's going to be something maybe that'll surprise us on a movie that you think is a softball. So speaking of softballs, homework. My pick, movie of the week. The Phantom's going to be disappointed because I got to pick a classic, but it's something I haven't seen in a while. And it came out around that time of Ford Fairlane where the really good Hollywood movies were ending and it kind of transitioning into more crap. Is it crap going back to watch it, or is it still going to be a classic? You ready? Airheads.
No.
Oh, great flick.
We're going
We're gonna
Airheads.
have fun with that one, bro.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Brad?
Airheads?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
The
All right.
Lone Rangers.
You're invited, but your friend can't come. So, and that's your homework for next week, Thomas. Airheads. Put that down in your. So
Already down.
let's talk about what we usually like to talk about. Some wrestling. There's some John Cena news. John Cena's being sued. Brad, I heard that.
Oh, yeah, he
You hear
is.
that?
Yep. Because
What,
of
what's what? What's the gist on that?
the intro music actually came from some other lady or band or something, the horns, the trumpets or something. So they're suing him now because after all these years that for copyright infringement and whatnot. A pretty good case though. They'll probably win it, and John Cena and WWE have so much money they'll just probably settle and pay him a large sum.
Imagine all the retroactive money that they owe. They'd have to go back and count how many times they used it.
Yeah, they'll probably just settle on like one big number that both of them think is fair. I mean, that's how that stuff works, you know. Um, I mean, for real, it's like the one thing, one claim to fame this person has is their intro was used for John Cena, you know. So
Trying to
they'll probably
cash
come
in.
with they'll come with some number that's fair. I'm sure it's not. I don't think Cena's. As far as I know, Cena or WWE, nobody's like released a statement on it, so I don't even think they're stressing it. You know, I mean, they brought Brock Lesnar back for God's sakes. They're not worried about some soundtrack, bro.
And they're not done yet. Maybe Vince shows up for that last one.
Maybe Vince shows up for a Saturday Night Main Event. It's been rumored that he wants to at least be in attendance.
Imagine if they have him as like his manager.
Yeah, I mean, at least if he's even in the crowd, it's going to be weird.
Yeah,
Well,
oh yeah.
like me and Andy were talking before we came on air, supposedly they're making all the wrestlers and their families buy tickets. So they're not comping anyone tickets anymore to the game,
Mm.
even the talent. So do they make Vince pay for a ticket?
If Vince is there and he's in the crowd, I mean, people are going to notice. I can't imagine he's just going to be like in a standard seat. He's going to have to be in a box and hidden away somewhere in a,
under
in a
the
suite.
black hood.
Yeah. Maybe he was the one in the hoodie.
He is the
Hey.
higher power.
Yeah.
What a letdown that was.
Yeah.
That was a big letdown back in the day. But another thing, talking about mergers with Netflix is supposedly going to buy WB. Now, the problem is AEW is on the WB owned networks, TBS, TNT. So, thoughts on how that might affect, it's not going to affect WWE. How's that going to affect AEW? They're going to force them to, you know, not be able to be on the channel? Are they going to void their contract? Are they going to force AEW to find another place? Because even HBO Max is part of Warner
Mm.
Brothers. So, thoughts on that, Professor?
Well, from what I read, is they're going to have certain parts of the two companies as separate entities. So I could see that working that way, especially when I think it was just like within the last month or two. I think AEW reached a deal with Warner Brothers, so I can't see them dropping them already. I think they'll have run it as two separate entities.
What do you think, Phantom? You're usually pretty good with
I was gonna say it could be like one of those big time power moves where they don't release them from their contract and they actually keep them contracted, and they could be like, oh, we're gonna put if WWE has that much of a hand in it, and they could put them on at 2 o'clock in the morning or put them on at some odd time to that nobody watches it to fold it up.
well, the speaking of nobody watching it, since the whole CM Punk 1 million views that they got off of him showing up, their ratings have done nothing but drop every week since he's left. So, what kind of viewership can they gain? Can they actually gain any more viewership? I don't know. It's such a weird landscape with the whole wrestling. You have people that are lifers, say like Ed, that watch for so long and now they don't even watch. And Ed doesn't even watch, not even like the clips. Maybe if we send him something, but most of the clips that we send around are classic stuff. But my point is what's the upside for growth of wrestling? I don't see it growing yet. There's no room to grow other than just charging people more money to go watch something that I find is kind of inferior a little bit. You
Well,
know,
going back,
it's not like you can't draw heat like you could. And then when you do, you always run the aspect of somebody being butthurt. But the whole point of getting heat back in the day was making people butthurt. So you can't pop anybody anymore with a surprise because everybody lets it out before it's supposed to be a surprise. The whole diatribe of what we always talk about the organic of what it was supposed to be to what it is now, and what's the sense of knowing anything when you're not supposed to know anything?
going back to our theory of wrestling is for the poor.
Yep.
Now you have to pay to watch regular everyday wrestling.
Yep.
And the one thing that kind of surprises me a little bit is that AEW can't catch on a little bit because it still comes on just like regular cable. But I don't know if that's fallen under so many people cutting the cord and not as many people before. Like when we were growing up, we all had the same thing. We all watched cable. We all had the same 35 channels. So if you're channel surfing and you hit some wrestling, you might stay and watch it. But now, when you got to look for it to watch it, a lot of other options. I think it's they made their billions, they made their billions, they made their billions. But I think in the end, it's going to be the downfall of it because now it's not accessible to everybody, and some people are going to, you might get the regular fan that's like, no matter what they put out, they're always going to pay. But if you got like a fringe fan, and even if they get Netflix, they start watching a couple of shows that stink. A zillion other options. They can go watch something, UFC or slap fight or whatever you might be into. You got a lot of competition nowadays, so it's I think it's on
Ed, you
Well,
want to weigh in?
Yeah, I think that, the reason why they signed the contract was to lock it in, right? So here's the thing: what they're doing is that they're locking in programming for however long they sign the deal for. So if they sign the deal for 3 years, well, they're going to honor that contract in the time slot because it's guaranteed content. You have a built-in audience, no matter how big or small it is. It's a built-in audience, right? You don't have to move your programming around; it's right there, right? And the thing about it is just like wrestling has certainly changed, and I agree with everything that you guys have said. That it's not, if you have to look for it, and like like back in the day when we were growing up, you knew exactly where it was. And quite frankly, the content's not that good. It's not entertaining. The promos that they cut, they're terrible. They're terrible. Like nobody can talk. Nobody can talk. And then the moves, like if you want to go to the actual content, like okay, what are you supposed to do? Pile drive somebody 10 times and then they tap? Like, that's the finishing move. Like it's over with. And then going back to what you guys were talking about last week, like going to the top of a cage, and like when you get to the top of the cage, that's the end of the match. Like that right there. That's the climax of the match. Like right there, and then bring them home. That's it. Like once you get there, that's it. Like if you do that all the time, what do you got? What are you gonna do? Light somebody on fire? Like what are you gonna do? Bring out the like 4 horses and tie some dude down and like smack all 4 horses on the ass and like split the dude in four? I mean, like, where do you go? Where do you go from that? I mean, like, just what's his face that bleeds every time he gets out there?
John Moxley.
Yeah, like Moxley, and then what's his face? Like a miniature Sting dude there. That I mean, that dude. I mean, that dude's gonna.
Darby Allen.
Yeah, Darby Allen's gonna be in a freaking. I mean, that dude's poor bastard's gonna be in a body bag in a year.
I
Yeah.
actually saw a thing that he's like
He's in the hospital.
He's in the hospital because he got freaking hurt during one of these matches.
So I don't know. That's why I just can't watch it. It's just the content is poor.
Well, going off of what Ed just said about the content, I don't know if it goes with everything, but I don't know if this would be why WWE seems to have like toned down since they went to Netflix. But I saw an interview with one of the stars of Stranger Things the other day, and she said that they had a bunch of different other things scheduled for this that they had already filmed for this season, and Netflix told them it was too much, and they wouldn't let them air it, so it was all cut out. And
Well,
so I don't know if it'll ever air or not somewhere else, but
Oh,
that's what she was saying.
well,
like it
how
was too graphic.
Yeah, that's what it
Oh.
sounded like.
too graphic for like a tweener horror type thing. That's I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me.
The whole start of the Netflix letdown was the buildup that it was not going to be on USA anymore. Then when it was going to Netflix, is that it was going to maybe get extreme, or the storylines were going to get a little
Yep.
bit more adult, and then they jumped in and were like, oh no, we're just going to keep it the same. And I was like,
It's
what,
if
what am I
anything,
what am I paying for?
if anything, it's more PG than it was going into
Yeah.
Netflix era, bro. It's WWE is ice cold. Like there's no debating it. It is ice freaking cold. They can't get a storyline interesting. They can't bring anybody to get a pop. Anybody that runs in or comes out, as the crowd goes mild. And now that they're buying the competition, I see what Netflix is doing. They're probably like, hey, wrestling is, as a whole was hot a year ago. Let's buy both. You know, that maybe that was a plan the whole time. We'll buy both and we'll be the biggest streaming service ever because we have both of these. We can't get NFL or college, but we have wrestling, and that's pretty damn good, right? Now, my concern is bringing in AEW. Now, this AEW, despite WWE being ice cold, has stayed the same. They've maintained the status quo. Ticket prices are the same. PLEs are the same. It's the same price. It's for the poors. They recognize their audience, man. But now Netflix, maybe Netflix is going to come in and be like, damn, we have WWE Monday Night Raw is charging $350 for ringside. AEW's charging $90. Let's bump those prices up. And now they're pricing out the poors even from AEW. Like, I think this is a more fearful time for wrestling fans than we've ever had. Like, we're on the verge here of seeing maybe like an entire collapse because Netflix is too greedy, and I think they're gonna botch it, bro.
So to stay in the same conversation, but a part of that Warner Brothers umbrella that they're buying also is all the DC comic stuff. So
Mm,
DC is owned by Warner Brothers. They've been owned by them for since the 90s. So they're getting that too. With not only are they getting that, I think the bigger get if you're looking at it from buying Warner Brothers, they're probably looking at that AEW way down on the bottom, but that
way at the
catalog
bottom.
that you're getting of all the DC stuff going forward too. Now with Peacemaker being a DC character, now does that screw up their how they release that? And is that's over the top the way
Mm, and
are they
that's
gonna
woo,
pull a Stranger Things and put a cap on
mm,
what they do with that fun Peacemaker type universe? There's more. It's more than just a surface thing. If they want to put their thumb on stuff and start pulling the old Disney suppression, they probably could.
So you
mm.
figure if there's so much content as far as Warner Brother movies or TV shows or you name it, if you can only watch that stuff only exclusively on Netflix after it's like so it goes to the theater straight to Netflix. Or what if they start doing stuff where it's like not even going to go to the theater? Maybe they'll kill out the theater and then now the movies will be directly right at home. And which has kind of been happening, but it's so all these other services that's a big loss if all of a sudden they lose all the Warner Brothers stuff.
So
Bro, they probably don't even know AEW is in the
that's
portfolio.
what I'm talking about. They don't think that they were Netflix was looking at buying Warner Brothers
Mm-mm.
for AEW at all. That was more of the
They
catalog
wanted the
of movies and
DC
TV.
because Disney got Marvel. They wanted HBO and the DC rights, Peacemaker, which is a hit. If you haven't watched Peacemaker, it's amazing.
Yep,
And then that's John Cena, though,
yep,
with ties to WWE.
yep,
This is where it gets complicated.
yep.
No,
That's
I didn't think about that.
that's
That's
TKO
crazy.
putting in the call, going, hey, what are we gonna do about this little situation? They might just try to squash them right there.
It's crazy.
The other
Corporate takeover.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, this is we're painting with a wide brush with this
Wide brush.
segment, but the thing that I want to bring up, and me and the Phantom have talked about this in the past, but I'll bring it up to speed for the podcast crew. there's a movie that Disney made, and they only made one of them. They never made a sequel to it. Was one of my son's all-time favorite movies, Wally.
Wally, it's a good movie.
So the concept of that in the future, where everybody's a fat ass, everything's handed to them. They live on one ship. One company owns everything called what? By and large.
Ooh.
And these mergers that happen, and they scoop up this big thing of content. It's like putting a big scooper right in the ground. You're just grabbing a bunch of stuff. That's what that when I see that, I always think of that. Like, are we working towards that with everybody is overweight, everybody consumes the same things because that's all that's there to consume because that's all they let you consume. So are we working towards that in a slow pace? But are we getting there? What do you think, Phantom?
It could be.
It's a good point. It's a good talking point for the
I don't
tinfoil
know if we're
hat.
going at a slow pace. I think we're flying in.
Yeah. Pretty soon Walmart's going to own Netflix anyway, and they're going to control everything. Or Amazon.
It's just there's only so many big companies that have that billions and billions of dollars to consume.
When
These
you're negotiating that deal, well, it's like the numbers are so astronomical. It's like where do you come to that number? Like that's the value. Well, when you're talking the contract, like how about if we give you $500 billion? But I don't know. I think we should get 513 or like how much is like. And is it a suitcase coming with the money? Is it actually like real money? Is it like who's getting it? Who's counting it? I don't get it.
You know what I think it is, Ryan? I think it comes down to not a number based on they'll get a number based on an accounting group from
Yeah.
but
It's all assets. It's all this.
I think where the money comes up to let's push it up a little bit more is how much every one of the shareholders is going to get across the board. So is everybody going to get a straight, $50 million across the board, or is everybody going to get 46.35555? I think they get it to a certain number where everybody's cleaning across the board the same number, and that's what drives a certain number is the overall. If you've worked for a big corporation and they have a board of directors, that's what it always comes down to. Not speaking from any.
No.
No, never me.
I'm still waiting for that spread to go to work to everybody.
Yeah. Even keel. So before we move away from our weekly wrestling talk, we're going to play a real quick guess the wrestling magazine. So you got to guess the year, and then if we'll fine tune it, see how good you are with a month. So the main storyline on the headline is the Honky Tonk Man takes the Intercontinental title. Brutus the Barber Beefcake is Canadians Bret Hart. Yep. Is Hulk Hogan in danger? And the Hart Foundation have been exposed. So obviously you might know what magazine it is, which brand of magazine it is. We all had one. Any guess on the year? Just remember, Honky Tonk wins the IC title.
I'm going
87.
I'm going 1986 June.
Brad?
87 or like 88, like late 80s.
Hey, whoa, hey, like pick a number, guy.
Okay.
Pick every freaking month of the year.
All right. What do you got, Ed?
87.
I'm gonna go with 87 as well.
You guys all correct that picked 87.
Now we got to go Price is Right. You got to pick the month.
All right. So Honky Tonk Man wins the Intercontinental belt. What month?
March.
SummerSlam, July.
Ed?
April.
Brad?
You said July. June.
All wrong.
$1.
You guys are all under.
December, October,
It is
September.
September
Nailed it.
1987. If you had it, it's right there. Great. It's a good cover. Got the classic IC belt on it. Yep. The Hot Foundation exposed. Come on now.
Why does it
Come
say
on
to my
now.
¡1 fan?
It did not.
He's got your sideburns from 2008.
Yep. Look at that, huh?
Got those chops.
So with that, wrapping up our wrestling talk, Tom, it's time to take us in the world of pro sports with some shitty picks.
Alrighty. 1973 podcast is brought to you by Leet Hockey Company.
Leet.
At Leet Hockey Company, it's all about the game. Whether you're a seasoned pro, a weekend warrior, or lacing up for the very first time, they've got you covered. From top-tier gear and custom equipment to apparel, live event experiences, and full team support, Leet Hockey is built by hockey players for hockey players. This isn't just a brand, it's a community. A place where players of every level can stay sharp, play hard, and live hockey. So if you want to elevate your game, support a company that supports the hockey world, and join a movement that's growing fast, check out leethockey.com today and tell them that the crew from the 1973 podcast sent you.
That's us. So Thomas,
I know
what do you
those
got?
guys.
What do you got for some shitty picks?
Well, seeing that we did the shitty picks last week and the games haven't happened yet with the championship games, I'm going to go like something. I want Darren to like get close to the mic because I'm going to talk a little basketball for a second. I'm going college because I'm going to be honest. I was going to go with the LA Lakers Celtics game tonight, but that got too easy when Luka and LeBron pulled their hamstrings getting off the bus, so they're not playing. So plus it started before we started the podcast. But I'm going to go tomorrow afternoon, 12 o'clock, college basketball. Duke is going to Michigan State. Number 4 versus number 11. Going to be a really good defensive game. I think Duke's given up 59 points a game. Michigan State's given up 60. I'm going with Duke to win the game. They've got former NBA player, Carlos Boozer. He has twin sons that play for Duke, and they're both going to go in the first round of the NBA draft this year. I think they'll be a little too much for Michigan State.
I just want to interject here. I believe that is the most basketball talk that this podcast has ever had.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I could kill some Globetrotters talk if we ever get that far.
I mean, we'd kill off all 20 of our viewers if we went that deep.
I blame the platform for that because I think we're as Brad would say, a little shadow banned, Brad.
Yeah.
A little bit. We're too blue for the normal public. Ed, football talk?
Oh, I just want to get everybody's take on so let's talk about the bowl system that we got going on. So what is everybody's picks for the noon game? I mean, let's pull that out. So let's see.
What? For the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean,
Playoffs?
I mean,
LJN on the back, just saying.
We basically have, the matinee game, and then we have like the big boy game.
Oh, the conference championships.
Yeah, conference championships.
LJN.
So we have BYU versus Texas Tech tomorrow morning as the matinee. Anybody have any takers on that?
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
I'll agree with you guys on that. All right, how about for the big boy game? Georgia versus Alabama.
Georgia.
Yep.
The running back for Alabama might not play.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.
All right, and then
Roll
Tide. And then for the real scorcher, how about Duke versus Virginia? I mean,
I don't think it matters, but Virginia.
I'll go Duke.
I'll go also Duke.
Okay, and then the other evening game, Ohio State versus Indiana.
Ohio State. Nobody's going to touch them this year.
Yeah, Ohio State.
Yeah. So
I hate him. I'm going to Indiana.
So what does everybody think about the fact that Miami's not playing Virginia now? Granted, in the ACC championship game, and does anybody believe that there needs to be kind of a little bit more reorganization of
They
how?
may still get in because the final thing is not till Tuesday. That Notre Dame actually dropped in the ratings, so they're saying that there is a slight chance that Miami jumps ahead of them because of schedule.
Well, didn't Miami beat Notre Dame, and didn't Miami beat the three teams that Notre Dame played, and they beat them by a bigger margin of score? Is that correct?
Believe so.
Yeah. So I mean, why would they not get in over Notre Dame? But that kind of, in my opinion, that kind of goes that Notre Dame pulls all the eyes, and Miami still has the you know the you know the back in the day where the where they almost got the death penalty type of a thing. So I don't know, but and then so we were talking about, and so last week we were talking about big boy football, and I'd have to say that there were some big boy football hits that went on Monday Night Football this week.
Yep.
So it
Jackson
was,
Dart needs to get out of bounds.
yeah, and it was kind of nice to not see the NFL throw penalty flags for hitting them like that. Now, does anybody believe that if that was Patrick Mahomes, that would be a little bit of a different call? Does anybody have a take on that?
I do, 100%. Like to me, you're a rookie. You tip your toe in the line. You get smoked. It's the learning curve. That's how you learn. Now you have one of your top players or one of the league's poster boys takes that same hit. They've almost earned the right not to get smoked. Like you're protecting your stars. So let the kids eat it, and then if he ever becomes a star, then all of a sudden maybe he'll start getting the calls. But as for now, time to learn, young man.
First of all,
All I
Jackson
know is
Dart is
that
already a star. Put some respect on his name.
Down in Mississippi, he is.
down in
Yes.
Mississippi is. All I know is if I was playing that guy, that necklace would be getting snapped off first play.
Yeah.
That's the first thing my wife said when she was watching the game with me the other night was, I can't
Anytime,
believe they're letting him play with that.
anytime I see somebody playing with like some gaudy jewelry, I'm like the whole defensive line should be saying to themselves, "Dude, 10 grand to the first person rips that fucking thing off his neck."
Oh, Jackson Dart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, man, I think Ed brought it up with Pat Mahomes. I think the love affair with Pat Mahomes is over. I think we've seen like the Chiefs aren't getting the calls. Kelsey's bitching about it every post game interview. Oh, the refs ain't being fair, and we're like, bro, shut up.
they had this
Like
year.
the love affair is over with the Chiefs and Mahomes, and there's a new era coming in. You have all this young talent coming up. Drake May, Jackson Dart. You know what I'm saying? Like these young bucks, they're entertaining. They're fun to watch. It's the changing of the guard almost. Like it happened, maybe a little quicker than it did. Getting rid of Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, letting their era end and kind of fizzle out the way it did. But now it's I think this is like the speed of football now, man. It's every 4 or 5 years. It's 6 years, 8 years. It's a changing of the guard, and now we got Jackson Dart, we got Drake May coming up. Maybe Shedeur Sanders turns into something that's a little more fun than just throwing a bunch of interceptions. I don't know, but it's a new era of football, man. So
I think a lot of that has to do with whoever happens to be that team at that time. I mean, call
this
them dynasties.
popular.
Yeah, I don't want to say just dynasties, but it's like whole time Patriots were on top. It was like, oh, they're cheating. I mean, I hate the
Yep,
Chiefs and I hate them. Chiefs always get the calls. I mean, if you're winning games, everyone's gonna think you're getting the calls. So
it's the same narrative with the Eagles right
yeah,
now.
yeah. It's so I mean, you get to the point where it's like your opponent has a bad penalty, it gets called for something. Good teams make that hurt. So
Hmm.
everybody's going to turn around and be like, well, they won the game because of the penalty because they scored because of it. Where other teams get turnovers but they don't put points on the board with the turnover. So it's just a matter of executing when you get the opportunities, and usually the better teams are going to do it at a higher level than anybody else.
So how does everybody feel? Like I feel like that the Raiders are just circling the drain, and it's so tough to see such a storied franchise that was so good for so many years, just never be able to kind of pull themselves out of the muck and mire after they traded Gruden.
They've they've got to. I mean, I like Pete Carroll. He's getting older. I still think he can coach. I don't think he's the problem, but he's definitely not the answer. But whoever that their drafts have been horrible. I like Ashton Genty's going to be good. Brock Bauer is going to be good. Their offensive line is terrible. So they're
That's
not
where it all
whoever the
starts.
quarterback is. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is right now. They're going to get killed out there. So they've got to build. I mean, it's going to take a few years. I'll give them a few years, but they've got to throw the money at Max Crosby to keep him on defense because right now he's the only guy on that defense that is worth anything.
I mean, I would say trade him and get something for him. Like the thing about it is like defensive linemen only have so much of a shelf life. Why wouldn't you trade them and like try to get a 1 and a 2, or why not get a 1 and a 3? Get a 1 for 1 year and a 2 for the next year, or a 1 and a 4 for the following year after that. I mean, get something for them. And because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they're pretty much truly at a rebuild. I mean, they don't have a superstar quarterback. You know, Who
I think
knows?
that's what
Doesn't
they
matter
were.
how good they are this year. That the
Yeah.
NFC, I mean, the AFC West is so good that they you could go 10, get 10, 11 wins, and you still might not make the playoffs.
Very
When
true.
he dragged Gino along with him, I was like, all right, not bad. At least I have somebody that's serviceable. But like you said, you got no line, you got nothing. You got Adams leaves and he's leading the league in touchdowns.
That's very true. But also look at his quarterback too, and look.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. And then I mean, look at the turnaround about the Bears. I mean, the Bears have been a perennial doormat for years, and look at how they've turned around. You know,
Well, the key is look how bad I won't say bad, but look how much difference there is in Detroit this year without their core without this guy that's the head coach. So he's
Yeah.
I like him. He's goes a little overboard in the locker rooms after the game, but him taking a shirt off and celebrating with the boys. But
The guys love it though, Tom.
oh
They
yeah,
love
Yeah.
it. They love it. Or maybe for once, they got a little bit of quarterback development going on. That seems to be a problem in the NFL. Dudes drafted to a team and they turn out to be what we think is a bust, and they get passed around to 2 or 3 or 4 different teams. Then all of a sudden they become good, and everybody's like, "Oh, why weren't you this good 4 teams ago?" Well, 'cause you got drafted by the Browns.
yeah. I mean, look
You
at
know what I mean?
Fields.
Or you
Yeah,
got drafted by the Panthers. Like, give them a development process, give them an OC and a coach, and not a revolving door of staff, and give them a little time. You're going to see results, man.
that offense is they're building that team just like they did with Detroit, where they've got two good running backs, Menengai and Swift. They've got
Yep.
Roma Dunze as a good young receiver. Their tight ends, they got a couple decent tight ends. They're not
Yep.
great, but along the Sam Laporta route with like what's that guy's name? Loveland or whatever his
Loveland.
name is, and Cole Kmet. So they're building it pretty well. That's another one where they're in a tough, not tough division, but Green Bay's tough, so it's going to be a battle. I mean, I'm pulling for Chicago to pull it out and hold on, but it's going to be interesting.
Look how good they are. And Caleb Williams really, I mean, he's playing well. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he was supposed to be like the next big thing, and I think many people would take Drake May over him.
Well, I mean, his first year in Chicago, he was terrible.
Struggles.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It
Terrible.
was terrible. And I think part of this too is that I think that we're going to see the resurgence of the running back, because all these undersized linebackers and everything like that, and all these teams that go to nickel and dime, all of a sudden now you start to see all these teams. Oh, hey, we're going to have two running backs. We kind of have like that guy that can run between the tackles and the guy that can,
The shifty guy.
yeah,
Yep.
all of a sudden, that 6'2", 6'3", 225-pound linebacker
Ain't gonna cut it.
is not going to cut it anymore. We need to bring those thumpers back.
That's a good point, man. And even like you look at safeties now, safeties ain't the big bruising body that they used to be.
Mm-mm.
I can't tell the difference between a safety and a cornerback anymore. And corners are even smaller. So it's like, bro, you bring in that dude that can just smash between the tackles and run straight up the middle. and the Lions do it very well with what's his name, Montgomery, right? But bro, if you don't have that change of pace guy, like you're not going to get nowhere with just having a shifty guy that that those guys get worn down too quick. That's a good point, Ed. I like that, man.
Thank you.
The way that they play now, you can't have those big hitting safeties anymore, anyways, because you get flagged to death.
They get flagged to death. Yep.
What's the point? You need all
Yep.
cover guys.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you just have to basically nowadays. It's like all you can really do is stand next to somebody. You can't really like totally truly cover a guy because everything's pass interference. You know. So, all right, that's my take on the in state on the NFL.
I've got one more question. The big talk up here over the last couple of days is the name the finalists for the Football Hall of Fame, and both Bob Kraft and Belichick are finalists. Now, the question they've been posting on all these talk shows is if it came down to either or, who goes in first?
Bill.
Bill
Oh,
Belichick
Bill
over an
Belichick.
owner. I'm not a football dude at all, but Jesus Christ.
Well, they're saying what might happen is what happened to Barry Bonds and a few other guys because he's so unlikable that he might not actually get in his first attempt.
Really?
Who, Bill Belichick?
No,
Yeah.
I think he's in no problem.
yeah,
No
I think they
brainer.
both are, to be honest.
Yeah.
How about
Bob Kraft,
Kraft?
maybe
How about
no, but
Kraft getting the jerky in freaking FLA? That only going to count against him?
Hey,
well, there's that, but that
they're murderers in that. Come on now.
Hey.
hey,
I think someone was getting murdered, but it was a little
Allegedly.
wrinkled.
allegedly. Yeah.
well, I mean, I will say this is that I would love to see the friction on the stage between the two of them.
That's what they were saying. They was like they
Um,
want to see them both up there and have to sit next to each other.
that'll be tummy sticks. Oh, I love you, man.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
because in Belichick's book, I don't even think he mentions crafts more than once.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
You know, and I mean, it's kind of like, well, the man gave you an opportunity. Just saying. So I don't know. I would love to see them on the stage at the same time because that would be freaking hilarious. That would be must see TV in July.
Tom, before we wrap up the sports stuff, you want to mention Charlie McAvoy story?
Yeah, we saw him get hit and they didn't really ever say what was wrong. They came out today and he has a straight line fracture in his jaw and he has it wired shut. He can't eat any solid foods for 8 weeks. And they said he's lost 25 pounds already. And if he's actually just started skating and he actually, you could see him at the thing. He looks real thin now. I mean, he's lost a ton of weight.
Charlie always walking around with a little bit of chub on him, though.
Yeah, he did, but now
I
you
think
can
he
see it
kind
in his face. He's
yeah.
really thinned out because he can't eat.
Well, I mean, but that should tell you right there, no matter what age you are, that should show you like true sports nutrition. Like you need to be, quick and fast, and then you have to have, a good body. And the only way to keep on that type of muscle mass is actually good quality calories, and your macros have to be on point, and when you have your jaw wired, you can't eat real food. And I mean, those guys, I mean, if you look at the diets that professional athletes have, man, they are like, most of these guys, like they talk about going to McDonald's. They ain't eating at McDonald's. No way. Most of these guys, especially like the guys that have signed those multi-million-dollar contracts, multi-year, they got personal chefs to get them. So like, there's no inflammation at all in their body.
The thing that's funny is I can never really see him doing it, and then it goes against everything that we always talk about, and this, that, and the other thing as far as like, should these guys just be playing with like full cages on? Like,
They won't.
like really, when you think about it, because like say like the fighting, like now when you're fighting somebody, you got to fight a guy with a freaking half shield on you, freaking busting your hand on the freaking plastic shield and the helmet, so you can't really get a clean, can't take the helmet off before you fight. So you might as well just cover up the faces and like these guys need to be losing their teeth.
I don't know. I think that goes higher than that, Ryan. I think it has to do with multiple different things. I think whatever marketing that they do, I think they like to see the mug.
Yeah,
Unlike,
they don't market anything over there anyways. They're
I
terrible
know
with it.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's
How about if they made him wear bubbles?
I don't know. I don't know. Speaking of that, I wanted to mention. I don't know if you heard the absolute mess going on in Italy with that rink that they're going to play in. And it is undersized. It's not even the size of an NHL rink. They're not going to be able to test it until January 9th is the earliest that they can have it ready. And I think the first preliminary rounds of the Olympics is that first week in February, if I'm correct. And the quick thing that I saw that the NHL's thinking about, if they can't get their shit together, that they're gonna pull out of it. So thoughts on that, there, Professor? I can see you nodding.
No, I heard everything you said. I had read, and I don't blame them. You don't want to, these guys, these teams don't want their players to go over there and get hurt, especially on a rink that's going to be subpar. So I don't blame them.
You want to add there, Phantom?
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit they've been kind of being babies about it. Like, so the rink's like 3 feet shorter than a regulation rink. Like, all right, yeah, it's a little bit small, but does it have to be the perfect? Like, you can't just go play hockey on, well, you know what I'm saying? It's it's going to be brand new, so it's not like they're trying to stick them in like this old building. As long as the ice is quality, I mean, they're having games outside with quality ice. They can't put together some ice for for the Olympics.
I mean, it's talking points. We
Yeah, I
bring
just
this up,
I
and
mean, I get it, but sometimes I think it's like a little bit over the top. It would have to be super serious, I think, for them to like Tom was saying, like somebody's gonna get injured, like the ice has to be that bad. But I don't know. I think they'll pull it together before the time comes.
well, I thought the initial thing is when they build these rinks for these Olympic villages going forward, if they award you, I thought the overall international hockey picture of it was that if you get awarded the Winter Olympics and you can't provide a facility for all the skating events, including the hockey, you got to build one in lieu of getting the bid for the Olympics. And then going forward, it's allowed by all these Olympic events that you can actually hold tournaments there and things
Yeah,
going forward, saying, hey, listen, the 2025 Winter Olympics, like they do with Lake Placid now.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm saying that's the allure for these countries to help build these winter sports going forward for tournament play, for whether it's in the country for to grow a sport, whether it's figure skating or ice hockey, or even if it's what the one where they sweep the ice there, that everybody likes,
Curling,
curling.
curling.
So
Yeah.
you would hope that they would want to put their best foot forward for the presentation for the future use of it. That's my point. So I don't know. It is Italy. They are.
I think the thing that I'm a little bit more intrigued about is not so much if they're going to allow the players to go, but where they haven't actually selected the teams. Does now your roster construction? Do you change what you were going to try to bring in? Now, if it's in a small rink, you're going to try to bring out the bangers because it could be more physical games.
I doubt it.
Because normally, like the Olympics, it's the big ice. You got all kinds of space. That's what everybody was kind of keying on. Actually, if it ends up being on small ice, it actually favors the Americans.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if they add a couple of heavies at the bottom of the rosters. Maybe, I mean, the guys that are supposed to be there, your top guys are your top guys, but the fringe players, they might have to all of a sudden be like, I was going to take this guy, but now I'm going somebody that can bring a little heat.
Well, I think it's post Super Bowl. I think this will be the first time on the podcast that since we started, that we'll be able to talk about Winter Olympics for the hockey at least. So that'll be meant. It'll just give us some good content going, out of the Super Bowl into that usually road to WrestleMania time that I'm so looking forward to this year, because it's been so fantastic, Bradford.
We'll be able to double down with the junior hockey at the end of December too. Before that comes.
Yep.
That's always good hockey.
So, are we ready to put on the aluminum foil, get the Reynolds wrap out, and go to one of my favorite parts of the show. Thomas,
Yo.
use your best Rod Serling voice and
Yeah, I got none.
bring us into some tinfoil hat.
This episode of the 1973 podcast is brought to you by RC Custom Cards. Do you collect cards?
Do you?
Want something truly unique in your hands? RC Custom Cards turns ordinary cards into extraordinary. Custom designed trading cards created just for you. Whether you're celebrating a milestone, honoring a team or friend, or building a one-of-a-kind collection, RC Custom Cards crafts premium, personalized cards built to impress. Great quality, great design, and 100% custom. Made for collectors, fans, and anyone who wants something special. Ready to elevate your collection? Head to rccustomcards.com and see what you can create. Tell them the 1973 podcast sent you. Now back to Brad.
Want to talk about Hollyweird, to quote your hockey hero, Hollyweird, cloning practices. It's kind of been a topic of conversation lately. If you watched any of these promos or commercials of the actors, the actresses for Stranger Things and Wicked, it seems like that, especially the women, are just like wasting away. They're like shriveled up, which is like an Ozempic thing, I think. I think that's pretty easily explained away. But then Jelly Roll comes busting through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man, except he doesn't have all the girth of the Kool-Aid Man. He's like completely shed, two body weights of people away. He shaved. He doesn't look the same. His tattoos look weird. Skin looks weird. He looks pale. His eyes look empty and hollow. So people are saying like he got cloned, etc., whatever. And I started looking and thinking like, man, yeah, like there's a lot of weird stories in Hollywood about people getting cloned. Tom Cruise literally cloned his dog. Like they've commercialized cloning pets. Like that's a thing. If you have the money and you have a family pet, you can get it cloned. And then you start looking even deeper. It's not just reserved to family pets. Prized racehorses, prized cattle, uh, Saudi Arabian princes, when they have a prized camel, they pay and get these animals cloned. It's a commercial business now. And y'all remember 20, 30 years ago when the first scientists, I was reading about it in my weekly reader in, sixth grade. They talked about cloning a goat, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's the end of the world. You're playing God. This can't be done." And they allegedly stopped cloning, and they're like, "We'll never do this. We're not. We're mere mortals. We're not going to play God. We're not doing it." Now, and Tom Cruise is cloning his dog now, for God's sakes, right? So we definitely went way overboard with it, and now they're talking about cloning people. So my thing is, if they're cloning animals in 20 or 30 years, somebody's going to come out, Tom Cruise is going to come out of a cryogenic chamber and be like, oh, here's my clone. I transferred my whole essence into this clone. And we're going to be like, oh, that's so amazing. It's new. Like, no, they've probably been doing it for, by the time we find out about it, the pores, they've been doing it probably for 40 or 50 years. And it just made me think of like this Netflix movie, They Cloned Tyrone. Great movie, by the way, if you haven't watched it yet. But it stars Jamie Foxx, who is suspected of being cloned. If y'all remember back in the day, not even a couple years ago, he was in the hospital and we never found out why. And then all of a sudden he came out of the hospital and he was like, oh yeah, Diddy got me or some shit like that. And he started ratting on Diddy and the whole thing happened with him and he got arrested. There was talk that Jamie Foxx was cloned and he's literally in a movie called They Cloned Tyrone. So weird stuff, man. I just wanted to get y'all's thoughts on it. Hollyweird, and the cloning or not cloning. I think they're cloning each other.
So the first thing that I thought was supposed to be cloned was bringing Walt Disney back. I thought that was mandatory.
That was one of them.
That if they were going to do that, I thought he was the first person they were going to bring back and do something because they, put him in carbon freeze before, his cancer took its toll and he was like in suspended animation and a couple of, I had heard that they were going to try to recreate the woolly mammoth and then put that in some kind of isolated part of the Soviet Union or what was the Soviet Union and get that off the ground. What happened with that? You know what? You live in an area where I shouldn't say an area. an era of a lot of what ifs. I'm not sure if it was like 2 or 3 podcasts back, and I said it to the Phantom, and I think I said it. I was kind of talking out loud, but it's like, do we have too much information now?
Oh yeah.
Were we better off when we were a little bit like ignorance is bliss kind of thing? Um, is it a good thing? I think it makes your mind work more, and it makes you think big picture, and maybe it fills the soul more. Um, but as far as stuff that we can control, I don't want to get off on the wrong topic that we were talking about cloning, but I used to see people argue at work about stuff that they can't control, but these people couldn't even pay their bills every month. I'm like, focus on what you can control and stop worrying about shit they'll never come to you and ask you your opinion on it. You have no deciding vote in what happens at a high level. Just worry about what goes on in your day to day that you can control. But as far as the cloning, it always seems like it's always going to be an elite thing. I don't think it'll ever be a lower middle class type thing that we'll ever get. The only thing that I heard that they would ever do for the low level peasants in Sector 7G is you'll be able to take your core memories and put them on a flash drive and then put it in like a robot that you'll be able to have like in your home, and then you'll have your AI bot father walking around the house. These like the dude that was the medic in Alien, that like a cyborg kind of thing. To have you wouldn't actually be cloned, but you would have all the memories, but you'd be in like an artificial body. Would that make sense? That's what I heard that they. That's what I
It would
heard that
actually
they would.
be your brain, but with a regular body. So like your outside doesn't really matter as long as the brain is still you.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of thing. The brain of it wouldn't be a physical, squishy brain. It'd be,
Yeah.
it'd be you'd be RoboCop is pretty much, but with your complete life experience in it for whatever use going forward. I don't know if you know how many robots be walking around the earth of that'd be AIs of people that have passed away. I think the population would be over the top, but
I think we have the Earth is gonna be more like idiocracy more than anything else. So
Ed, you can't just you gotta explain.
well, I mean, if you've watched the movie Idiocracy, I mean, like, I think with all this information, it doesn't require you to actually think. It doesn't make you become a critical thinker. It just makes you be able to, what can you memorize? And what can you learn? You're not a critical thinker. You're not like, well, if this happens, how do I fix this? Well, I gotta go to my manual to figure out how that is.
Yeah, but don't you think, Ed, though, too, a lot is lost just on the day to day, but the way kids are raised now?
Oh, I agree. I mean,
Like, look at critical thinking just on a small level. You're
yeah,
outside with your buddies. You're
yeah,
playing whatever in the street. Cars coming. Oh, critical thinking, right? Oh, common sense. Let's move out of the way until the car goes by, or don't chase the ball in the street. When was the last time you probably heard a school say, "Don't chase your ball in the street from the driveway"? That's common sense things that you learn growing up. Now these kids don't have common sense. Kids are so isolated now that if you didn't leave the house for 3 days or make them get up and go with you to the grocery store or whatever, they would stay, planted for 3 or 4 straight days. That's not healthy.
So
You gotta get.
our punishment is their leisure.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It
I
used
just
to be if
I
you
just
did something wrong, right, you weren't going outside.
yeah.
Now
Well, I'm gonna
it's go
ask
outside and find something to do.
I'm
Take
gonna
away
ask
your stuff.
I'm gonna ask the three gentlemen that have kids. I mean, like if you think about it, I mean, like because
Is that
all
allegedly too?
well, maybe No, but what I'm saying is just like if you think about it, I mean, like we all were always outside. We never wanted to be inside. You know, it was like, man, I gotta get out of here. Like, I don't want to be inside. You know, that was truly a punishment, you know, to stay inside. And I also think that, I mean, I guess I'll agree with, I'll ask you guys this because I don't have kids. Like, I think that I feel as that the media and schools also have made people out to be really so scared for their kids that around every single corner there's a predator. And I don't know, you know what I mean? Because I don't have kids, and I really ask that as a legit question to you guys. Like, I'm not trying to window dress it. I'm being honest with you about that. You know, do you feel like that's kind of like one of those things why people keep their kids closer to the house and whatnot? Because, you know, there's all these crazies outside, you know? And I don't know. I'll ask you guys that because you guys got kids. I don't know.
I think it's because there's like too much media. So now anything stuff that could you, I mean, you would only hear your local news before, as far as like stuff like that. You weren't catching anything like that on your regular like channel 10 and 12 news. It was more worldly news, or stuff that affected everybody. Nowadays it's they'll say like, oh, the world's not the same as what it used to be, and it's like, I don't know. I think there was just as many screwed up people back then as now, but it just now everything's just, about everything. You can't scroll through your Instagram without seeing a story of something screwed up. But and people are ingesting it, and they're looking for it for entertainment. It's I just find like, it's like my kids were good for being outside, but they weren't outside like I was outside.
Not even
I
close.
not even close. But when they go outside, it's like, well, it's kind of like I kind of blamed it on, like, we're kind of like a little country over here a little bit, and where I grew up, it was in the city. So when I was outside, there was a zillion kids outside, or you could go to the schoolyard. You could always find somebody to do something with. Where, like, kind of where we are, it wasn't like they were going to like the neighbor's house to go hang out. So I kind of blame a little bit of it on that. But as far as, you know, if they go to somebody's house and say, you drop your kid off at somebody's house, oh, you're going to come pick them up at 5. You go pick them up at 5. It's not like they're outside and they're playing. You're knocking on the door and they're in the house.
I find that the worst thing is helicopter parents now. You have to tether that a little bit. Um, you have to let them do dangerous things safe, though, if that makes sense.
How you
Like,
learn.
you you can't cook for them forever, because then they go somewhere and they can't do something.
Yeah.
It's I see it all the time. When we were in junior high, you're already taking showers at school. Now nobody takes a shower at school in junior high. You you know you got to let them grow up age appropriately. You can't. And I've seen the other end too, where 8-year-old kids are acting like 17, 18-year-old kids, and it all stems from what you allow. Yeah, you have the final say. So, but just because I don't like how somebody else parents, it's not my business until it affects me. Then I'll say something. But I've seen parents defend their kid when their kid is wrong. That don't fly. If your kid's in the wrong, then there needs to be a conversation when you get home, because it's an extension of the home. That's what, when we were kids, if you went over somebody else's house, you behave probably a little better than you usually do, because you don't want the phone call home saying, "Hey, listen, so and so was over the house and they were, being a jerk, or whatever." That cuts off your lifeline of ever going back. So it teaches you how to deal with people. It teaches you that every household isn't different. You would go ask Ryan. You go over somebody else's house and they would say, "Hey, you want to stay and have something to eat?" Whatever they were eating, you were going to eat. You might make a face, but you don't want to disrespect them. That,
Yeah.
hey, you might not like pork chops, but that's what they have, and so you kind of like either say no, thank you, I'm all set, or if they insist, then you try to sit down and you muscle through it. Kids don't do that now. How many parents make a decision on what they're going to eat by what the kids will eat? Where back in the day, it was like, we're going here and you got to find something on the menu that you like. That's the do I think it's there is no true north anymore. There is no balance. It's gone too far because we talk about this numerous times. It all comes back to the participation trophy. You don't just get something for showing up. If you don't instill a little bit of gusto and push, and I don't know how this is tied into clone and Brad.
I don't know either, bro. I'm just here for the ride.
But yeah, you know what I mean? It's like you when I go places, I'm one of the older parents. And it's funny to see that there is a generation gap, that there is a
Oh,
difference in the way we were raised and
100%.
how, but the core values are gone too. You can't just throw a kid a tablet and say, "Hey, listen, I'll see you when you turn 18, and then I'm gonna
Mhm.
expect you to be this person I want you to be." You got to do the work. Like Ed was saying, you got to retain some kind of knowledge. You got to get in there, and whatever getting in there is, there's nothing. What I can tell you for a fact that when I was growing up and you went to practice, there weren't parents there scrutinizing practices.
There
They
was,
would
there was no
drop.
parents there. They dropped
That's
us
what
off and left.
that's what I'm saying.
That
Now
was that was the 2 hours of vacation for them.
these parents will sit there like it's a it's a an actual game or something that let them go. Just let them go. Let
That
them
that
go.
was the watching of the practices is the scouting to know who the bums are and who the ones that are good, so that later on, I can't believe they got this kid playing over here. He fucking specs.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
But it's one of those things that I kind of compare it to. When I was coaching, I had that older perspective. All the coaches were younger. I'm dealing with kids that were kind of come from a different household, not the type of household that I have, and you're trying to coach them, and they're getting more not parenting out of me, but more authority out of me than in their own household, and it just would blow my mind because you want that respect that you would give when you were that age, but they're not giving it to you. I never called an older person by their first name. These kids do it all the time. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
Mm.
There's no Mr. this and Mrs. that. And thing. When I see a kid hold a door for somebody, that's like cut above the rest. We had this. I was having this conversation today. Integrity in kids is so spread out now that when you see it, you're like, wow. And it used to be an everyday occurrence. We had this one kid, fantastic kid. I came and I coached this summer for a short time, no skins in the game other than my kids, but they asked me to help coach, and I said, yeah. So this one kid hadn't scored any goals all year. So we had like 7 girls on the team. So one week we were short. He's the only kid on the line with 2 other girls. This freaking kid was having the game of his life. I don't know if he was playing for pride, being out there with the girls, like or whatever, but he ends up scoring 2 goals. Clear as day. I see him get the third goal on junk in front of the net. The referee turns to him and says, "Did you get that goal?" So they can mark it in the score sheet. He says, "Oh no, it was one of the girls who hadn't scored all year." And because she had been in the scrum too for trying to tap it home. And here's the kid, nicest kid in the world, wasn't trying to impress anybody or whatever. If I didn't ask him I saw what he did, he would have taken it to the grave. When you see integrity on a kid like that, you say to yourself, we're still on you know for a fact that household is doing the right thing. And that's what you look for, and because it's fleeting. You don't see that all the time. But just we're not cloning kids. We're talking about cloning Brad. Yeah,
Tie this all together. I want to see how you do this.
Brad tied all.
Well, the Nazis did talk. Hey, there is conspiracies that the Nazis were experimenting with cloning, and that they not only, got Hitler out into Argentina, but they cloned five little Hitler babies. So this how it ties it into children. They cloned five little Hitler babies and spread them out all over the world, and they're just waiting for them to grow up. And the plan was that they would put them on maybe like each continent, and they would grow up and just turn into a Hitler, and have like this this
Sleeper cells.
yeah, these sleeper cells of baby Hitlers growing up, and then hey, there's one in North America, South America, Africa, Australia, and then Asia, and then they all just like, take over the world. But
But I thought the movie was called Clone Tyrone.
yeah, it definitely did happen. Yeah, I tied it in. I tied in cloning the kids and stuff, man, and having integrity. I made it work.
I hope they. I hope. Go ahead, Ed.
Go ahead, Ed.
What?
No, I said and tied in hunting Hitler at the same time. That's
Yeah, in the same time, we kept it conspiracy real. Yeah.
Wait, only on your 1973 podcast.
I was gonna say, I hope they hurry up and get this thing going. I'd like to have Ted Williams' head batting fourth to the Red Sox this year.
Right.
Need a left-handed bat.
Thomas, do you care to add to this cloning thing? You usually are the voice of reason. You're bringing a different set of eyes to this.
Cloning, for all the good that cloning could do, it's human nature to fuck things up. It's going to have all it takes is one crazy bastard, like Brad was saying, whether we're going to clone Hitler or they to clone and make their own army and just totally go fucking off. And that's what we've all seen enough movies. We know the plot of this whole story of what'll happen.
I want to know when we're going to do a conspiracy theory tinfoil hat on if the chud are real.
Can we confirm that Scotty might be actually one of those descendants of the clones?
Allegedly. He
Is that the Hitler stash?
he is north of the border.
That's going to be our test to see if he makes it this long when we're watching. If he watches.
Every time Scotty's on the show, we have to from now on address him before we see him. Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
For an inside joke.
Yep.
Either that, we're gonna get him better lighting.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get him away from that flat Earth map that he's always in front of.
Right.
Unlike Ed's flat Earth map in back of him.
It's a sphere.
Speaking of spheres, Ed, shout out this week so we can wrap up this shit show.
Shout out to everybody that loves college football. Shout out to everybody, all the boys down at the plant. And just it's good to see you boys this week. And tough week for some of us sitting here on the board. So just know that those people are in my thoughts, man.
Thomas, what do you got? You're sitting back.
I don't really have nothing tonight.
Nothing? Zero? Tom says, shout out to all the boys down at work. Phantom, what do you got?
I got one for you. So very rarely do I go out as far as like to go watch football out.
See previous conversation.
Correct. So last night I went out, watched Cowboys, sitting at the bar. So all of a sudden the waitress comes over. 2 drinks, one for me, one for my buddy. So, some guy down on the end of the bar. So I look up, and this rolls into what we were talking about before with the coaching. 2 of the kids that I coached right through going hockey that are all now 21 years old must have spotted me and bought me around.
Damn.
So it was like I don't know what you would call it, but it was like just like a surreal moment to just look up and be almost take the double look at do I even know who that guy is? And when you dialed in, I was like, oh shit.
Not the way I thought the story was gonna go.
No. That was the story.
When you said waitress comes over, I said, oh, it's getting good.
Should have put the earring back in for that one.
Yep, should have. Bradford, I see you scraping your shoes. What do you got?
Scraping them. My shout out is for the Ole Miss Rebels.
Oh, roll
we
tide.
are the new America's team through the playoffs. Hopefully we get past, we definitely get past the first round. Second round, we'll play Georgia or Alabama. We'll get eliminated. But we're America's team for now. Everybody loves us now because of what Lane Kiffin did. Um, and the second thing, I got a two-part shot. Second thing, talk about kids with integrity. The other day, the neighbors came up and said, basically kudos to my son Lucas because when they're out with the baby in the stroller and they're walking and jogging and they're those like hippie fit parents, and Lucas and his friends who are all outside kids are playing ball in the street. Lucas is the one that's like, hey guys, stop, 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 hold the ball, everybody chill. They got a baby, let them get by, and then they'll pause, they'll let the stroller get by, and then it's game back on. But anyway, they came by and just told me, hey, you got a real respectful kid, and I was like, what?
Let me go hit him.
Yeah.
Did you?
I was like, I won't beat him as much tonight. I'll let him
Right.
out of the cage. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, so I just kind of went tie back to your tangent.
Didn't fit in with the conspiracy theory so well, but Ed kind of started the fire. He
Oh,
wanted
we
to
made it
ask.
fit.
Yeah. So that's your I guess your 1973 podcast for this week. Coming up on Merry Christmas, put up a tree, light that yarmulke, get that stuff going.
Been up
It's,
since November 1st.
yes. Holidays. Ho ho ho.
Ho ho ho.
Lane Cliffin.
Lane
Oh.
Kiffin. Oh.